Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Take Initiative. Uh, this time we're going to have a little bit of discussion and other stuff before we start playing. So the first thing we have in order is we'd like to tell everyone that we don't play with Milestone. We actually use XP advancement. We just don't talk about it in-game so that it doesn't distract anyone from their role-playing. And would anyone else like to add something?
We're sorry that it's just a blank screen of the Die and Take Initiative logo so far. We're working on him getting some sort of logo to start off, or maybe theme.
Yes, we are working on a theme song, so we'll notify you as soon as that happens. Well, you won't be notified. You have to listen to find out.
Also, sorry about any audio issues and it sounding weird because we are on a Zoom call right now, and some of our audio is not the best.
All right, let's get started. So last time, you set off into the forest. You found a friend, Igrok the Kenku. You talked with him and hunted. You came back and sold your meat, and now you have reached the merchant who you originally came to see, the entire reason why you met. You see his stand far off, spices galore, unique weapons, the geometric throwing daggers, sleek one-edged longswords, different sorts of bows and crossbows, exotic meats and stuffed animals, not exactly the kind you'd buy in a store. Daxidor is not exactly impressed by the spread, but a bow catches his eye in a nearby stand, and he goes to check it out. What would you like to do?
My, this is an impressive turnout.
You're still around 20 feet away from his ship, which is docked on the dock, and he has a large stand set up in front of it.
Wait, before we go any closer, I have a proposal.
What's that?
So, I have reason to believe that, since we all know what it looks like, since the magic items will be in the back, we must show him our gold so that he knows we mean business. And then once we get to the back, I plan to pickpocket some small magical trinkets that could be useful in our journeys. And now, because most of you are good and must follow laws and stuff like that, we can use some of it to help those that need it.
I'm fine with the idea. The only thing that I see being a problem is how do we don't know this merchant yet. What if he's a completely nice guy? And we don't want to hurt him. And what if he's way too powerful for us and he slays us all?
And who says that there's magical items in the back?
I have been informed.
Depending on the guy, I want to meet him first, and then I'll say.
Well, how about we browse his normal inventory first, and then we'll check it out.
Would you guys like to approach his stand?
Okay, then.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. You walk closer up to a reasonable viewing range, and you see spices of all types and scents. Some smelling spicy and tingling your nose, others delicate. You also see weapons from various places. Some I've already described. You also see interesting spears. Some with a flat spearhead and a hook that comes off of them. Others, an axe with a spearhead almost attached to the top of it. You see different sorts of weapons. You even see a small mule that looks to be for sale, as well as foreign animals, all dead, some stuffed, some for meat. You also see the merchant. He is tall with a gray beard and he looks well dressed. Not exactly nobleman's clothes, but a bit above the common wear you see. He looks to be charismatic, and he obviously deals with people a lot. But some muscles on his arms indicate that he's also quite strong.
Why, hello there.
Hello. I see you have come to browse. Can I get you
Yes.
anything unique?
All right, look. I don't plan to spend much time here, so let's get this over with. Is there something that you think would please someone like myself?
Well, your moist skin tells me you may need water.
Indeed?
I have something that could help you out, but it's a little bit pricey.
How pricey?
He writes something down on a slip of paper and passes it to you. You read it and it says 150, and then it has the triangle shape of a gold piece.
I
What
believe
exactly would be
I believe
150 GP?
He ushers you to come inside, but he says, "First, I need to see your wallet."
A wallet? And why must you see my wallet?
Just to make sure you're not going to rob me.
Ah,
To make sure that you have interest in such a thing.
I'm
Well.
browsing with him.
Yes, me too. We all have enough.
I only invited the grung.
Well, then you won't be getting our business. And I kind of clink my wallet with all the gold pieces inside and start walking away.
Me as well.
He sees you turning away and says, "Wait, maybe you could all come inside." And he ushers you inside. Inside the hull of his ship, you see all sorts of goods, barrels, some stacked. You see a weapon rack, and next to the door there's a table covered in a thin piece of velvet. Please put down your weapons.
I put down all of my weapons.
I put down my weapon.
Same.
Put
I
down
have
my
a
weapon.
natural one
I will
in my
put down
jaw.
mine too.
Dame?
I put down my weapons.
All right. You go inside and he shows you what looks to be a decanter, glass with silver on the base and a silver spout. It is extremely well formed. It looks to be blown in a unique way. It curves up and is wider around the base and has the nozzle coated with silver. Has a distinct area where you see the trickle of water pour out. It looks to be empty, but then he picks it up, says "Zwada Kita" and shakes it. As he shakes it, you hear all of a sudden it sloshes, full with water, and he takes out. He sees Dame's bucket and said, "Can I borrow that, Dame?"
Absolutely.
He borrows the bucket and pours the decanter in. You see that it looks to just be a little bit of water in the decanter, but as he pours, it just keeps going and going, never seeming to get any lower. And then eventually he just tilts it up once the bucket is overflowing. The decanter is much, much smaller than the bucket, and this seems to be an impossible feat. This is the decanter of endless water. I got it in land far away, but I'm not exactly willing to part with it for a cheap price.
Well,
What is your
maybe.
price?
Let us start at 150 gold.
Well, I think we should begin the bargaining after we find all of our items. We're not all for him. May
What other
I browse
items?
around?
What other items do you desire? There's not much browsing to do back here.
Well, certain magic items may appeal me.
I do not have many for someone of your stature. He gestures to a relatively small leather wallet.
Well, that may not be where I'm keeping all of it. Plus,
I
me
see.
and my friends here, you see, we go hunting together, so what's in the interest for one of us is in the interest for all of us.
Well, I see. I might have something. He pulls out what looks to be a very well-made short sword with a distinct curve. It has a striking red leather handle, which is uncommon, especially in blades of the type. This, I'm sure, you might not be able to afford, but this is a unique blade. He then says a word and flicks the blade. It lights up with fire. He waves it
I
through the
back
air
away
lazily.
from the blade. I back away from the blade.
This is not exactly a common weapon. Bidding on this one starts at 500.
500 GP.
Yes, 500 gold.
One moment. I think that I've settled on taking that flask you have over there. Now, may you please give me a minute to make sure that I have enough to purchase that item?
Yes,
Of course.
me and my friends have a moment alone.
Of course. He walks back out to join his group, but not before strangely knocking on the door 3 times. He doesn't close it behind him, though.
I do
Do
not believe.
not steal from him. He seems very powerful and may have powerful allies.
How much money do we collectively have?
Well,
Including all of the squirrels that I killed.
I say we see if we can bargain anything, if we want anything from him. We can get great meat, and if we can get that, perhaps we can bargain with him.
You say we should, but do we know how long he will be here?
The sign didn't say, but judging from other merchants, you're guessing at least a week because traveling by boat takes a long time. So they rarely ever stay less than a week.
So if we were
He's only
to
been there a
go-
day so far.
So if we were to go on a hunting trip that was about a day in and about 2 days of hunting and then a day out, he would still be here.
Likely. You could ask him though, just to make sure.
I doubt
Okay.
that simple deer hunting will get us enough for 150 GP.
I was
Just basing
thinking
it off of
a
each other look like.
larger game. And I'm interested in that sword.
I do not like the look of that sword.
That's
Seems
why
cursed.
I want it.
What's wrong? Got a little frightened, not frightened, but fear of fire, eh?
Now you don't know what you're talking about.
We should slay a mightier beast. And maybe, perhaps next time we will get we should not ruin the owlbear's coat, for that will sell for a
GM,
great amount.
I'm going to take an intimidation check on Dame.
You're gonna intimidate Dame?
Yes.
All right.
He went to a spot that I do not like him to go.
That's charisma. So, intimidation as a skill. Check if you're proficient. How much?
8.
Dame, what's your wisdom score?
My wisdom. 13.
No, you're not frightened. You can see that he's a bit uncomfortable, but you're not frightened.
Interesting. I think I might study that over time.
We should call him back in.
However, one more thing.
Yeah.
Amarg, I don't think that simple hunting will get us what we need.
Well, we should do more
I
than
feel
perhaps.
I'll ask the townsfolk if there's any way to get that money.
I have an idea, but not all of you may like it.
What
Perhaps.
is your idea?
Well, I think I should talk to him alone for a minute, if you do not mind.
I am good with that.
Okay. I will be right back. DM,
Alright.
may I go and talk to him?
Okay, so he's manning his stand. So there's quite a lot of villagers. I mean, not a ton, but quite a few villagers around. But you can go talk to him.
Okay. I walk over and pat him on. Well, I don't really pat him. I say, "Hello, I have a proposal for you."
Yes, what is it? Turns and
Well,
faces you.
I know we may not have the right amount of coins to purchase those items, but is there perhaps any work, perhaps illegal work that needs to be done that we could take care of for you?
Well, there may be a few people who I would like removed.
Well, let's talk.
We shall. Where would you like to talk? In front of the others, or is this private?
How about at midnight at the Clumsy Troll?
Ah. All right, I will see you there. I won't exactly look how I look now. Look for an elf with dark hair.
I will see you there, and I shake his hand.
He shakes your hand, and you see his grip, despite his age, is firm, and magic sparks between his fingers. You can feel it kind of spark as it touches your skin.
I walk away.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
how did it go, Amarg?
Well, let's just say we have an appointment. I'm not sure if it would be in your best interest to know.
Okay then.
We should probably go back to my cabin, and I have an appointment to make at 12. But for now, we may smoke our meats and stuff the heads.
That would be in order.
Wait a second. Where exactly is this meat, per se?
We have been carrying it with us, remember?
My fish.
No, not that meat. I mean our meat.
Your owlbear?
Owlbear?
Meeting.
Oh. Well, let's just say there may be a way to get the items that he has shown us. Okay. Let's go.
All right. Do you guys set off to Amog's hut?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Do you walk to the hut? And you see that it's exactly the same as last time. It also happens that the table is not exactly fit for the seven of you. Igorok didn't go into the Igorok just browsed the outside when you guys were in the hole. He looks at you and shows you his paper. He said, "I need to go find my family. I must leave." Well, not says it. He has it on his paper.
Farewell, Igrok.
He says, "Farewell." And then walks off.
Well, I attempt to perhaps stuff the owlbear's head.
And I take out my dagger and I cut the meat, the fish, the small game, and the owlbear steaks into thin strips for smoking.
All right.
Smoking the meat, of course.
Well, I do have some cigar, if you'd please.
Amamog, how much?
I am at the nature check. I am rolling with the correct modifier. I have rolled a 16 plus 1, a total of 17.
Due to you not being exactly skilled in stuffing, the head ends up looking okay, a bit lumpy, and you weren't able to achieve any expressions. This will take you the better part of an hour, so everyone else can do whatever they'd like, but you have to stay here for around an hour to get this result.
Dame, would you like to cure and cut the meat with me?
Not really preferred, but I have nothing better to do. Why not?
Okay,
Alright.
then.
So you slice the meat thinly, as you know it will need to smoke. You currently do not have a rack for smoking the meat, so you need to build one. I'm sure that you guys are crafty enough to build some out of wood or sticks. You just need a rack to hang the meat on and a big fire. Lots of smoke, meaning wet wood.
Well, I have a fireplace.
You do, but it doesn't have a rack, so you'd have to build one.
Yes, I usually eat my meat raw.
Are me and Dame alone?
Would you like to cut the meat outside or just in a different part of the hut?
Outside.
All right. You cut the meat outside, and so yes, you're pretty much alone. I mean, there's some townsfolk a bit away.
Okay, listen here, Frog. I know that you obviously are smart, so you know that you touched on a sensitive topic there. Now, let me tell you before you start jumping to conclusions. My village was killed and burnt by red dragonborns. They had weapons similar to that one. So you better not tell any of the other group.
Interesting. A little, let me think. Clan rival, eh?
Sir, sure.
All right.
As you guys are talking, you see Daxador has come back from looking at the weapons and doesn't seem to have purchased anything, but has returned and sees you outside cutting the owlbear meat.
Hello there.
And the fish. Hello there, Daxador.
What are you doing?
We are going to smoke the meat, and then we're going to probably turn it into jerky.
And then sell it?
Yes,
Yes.
and maybe keep it as rations, but only some of it.
Let's just
Very
say
good.
we're a little desperate for money, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
I can take care of that situation. But you must give me time. And it is about time for me to go anyways. Okay.
It's still yes, it's the sun has gone down around an hour ago. It's getting dark. It's probably around 9 or 10 o'clock currently.
But I guess I have an hour or two to kill.
How is the meat smoking going?
You have not built a rack yet, but you've just finished cutting the meat. If you'd like to build a rack, that's pretty simple.
Yes, I build a rack, and just
Alright,
saying,
you got some sticks from the edge of the forest. Bind them, hang them over the fire. Make sure to get wet wood with green leaves sprouting out of it, and you now have a fire cooking. It can take up to 12 hours, though.
Also, I did notice that you did not mention, I am cooking the fish as well,
All right.
or smoking it.
Yeah, smoking it. Making some lox.
Except it will be dry. I'm gonna dry it too.
All right.
Okay. I think it is time now after they built it.
Yeah, after the fire's built and it's all going well, it's probably around time.
Okay. I don a dark cloak and head off.
Do you
Curious
cover your
fellow
head
he
with the
is.
cloak?
Yes, of course.
He's a curious fellow, eh?
Indeed. Now, I have a question. Is it okay if I just, wander off to the tavern, perhaps? It's been a day and a half
Clumsy
since
troll?
I've made it. Pardon?
The clumsy troll?
Yes.
All
It's
right.
been a day and a half since I've been there, and I wish to get some little extra SP.
All right. You see that is actually exactly where Amamark seems to be going. You follow close behind. Do you wish to let Amamark know you're going to the same place?
Yeah, might as well.
All right. You catch up to Amamark, and she sees you following along.
What are you doing here?
Well, I'm just trying to get my good work in. And you?
Well, this is perhaps what you'd call the arrangement I have made, but I need time. Find another bar for tonight.
Relax, I'll play the fool. Do whatever.
I cannot
My
have you seen
normal.
with me.
I
feel
wander to the front of the bar.
suspicious. I feel
Cartridge,
suspicious
you
and follow them
okay?
as well. I do not want them to know.
All right, so you're pretty far behind at this point, but you can see where they're going.
Okay, fine. You may go to the other side of the bar, but you must stay there.
Indeed, I'll have everyone distracted for your little meeting.
If it all goes well, I will inform everyone of all of this tomorrow.
All right. You two reach the tavern and go inside. Right as you're going inside and kind of looking around, Carterus, you approach near the front of the tavern.
I cover my head with a cloak.
And make
And yes,
All right. Amamark, you see sitting in the back corner towards a back door, very close to it. You see a elf wearing a green cloak, something you tend to see on a ranger with dark brown hair. He is looking at his drink and doesn't appear to be waiting for anyone, but you know this is who you've come to see.
I give a hand motion to the bartender and go and sit down, and I pull back my cloak.
Ah, you've made it.
Well, of course.
I
am
see
trustworthy.
you've brought some friends. He looks to see Dame setting up over by the bar. Seems to be taking out an instrument or two. And then you see Carterus standing in the back corner trying not to be noticed. You hadn't noticed him, but obviously he is quite perceptive.
Well, that frog-looking buffoon is just there as our healer, and the other one I did not see.
I
But-
walk up to the bar and purchase some orange juice.
All right. You are handed what looks to be a glass of slightly dirty orange juice. You're a bit suspicious that there might be an insect or two in it, but it smells good enough.
Okay,
I-
sip it at the end of the bar.
All right.
I apologize for this, but you must trust me. I'm here to honor our agreement and to make a new one.
Of
I
course.
try to eavesdrop on their conversation.
They're a bit too far away, and the bar is a bit loud. I think that we might want to go somewhere a little more private.
Yes,
Come with
I-
me.
I
And he
agree.
opens the back door of the bar, which would normally be discouraged, but he may have special permission. As you step through the door, you find yourself yet again on the edge of the woods.
Perhaps you should lock it.
It is not needed. And he knocks on the door 3 times and whispers a word under his breath. Come. And then he draws a circle on the ground under a tree and then steps into it. You see that now he is standing on a platform up in the tree that was almost completely obscured. Do the same, he says a bit loudly down to you.
I follow him.
You step into the circle, and it's almost as if the world kind of shifts around you as you shift up into the platform in the tree. So, you would like a weapon, would you?
A weapon and perhaps that vial, but we'll see. It depends.
Well, as I told you before, there's a few people I would like to have removed, but I'd like it done quietly and without association to me.
This can be arranged.
Also, I wouldn't like the Dragonborn knowing.
Well, I'll try my best. About, well, what do you mean not knowing?
Well, the target may be of a sensitive subject for him.
I see. I see.
There was
Well,
a red Dragonborn on the edge, on the other side of the woods. You will need to go quite far east, but he lives in a hut alone, though he's not really alone. He's with the rest of his clan. They just live obscured,
I see.
and he leads them. Without him, they would be not exactly able to function for at least a while. I don't like them a whole lot, but I would like him gone.
And how do I know that you will still be here when I return?
I will stay for a moon and a half. If you are not done by then, I will assume that you are deceased.
I'm gonna need more than that, for we have just met. What if I just kill him and you are gone?
Well then, a bit of insurance for you.
Yes.
He hands you a piece of platinum. It is from the area. It has Shio, the D family's a crest on it. The mouse wearing a crown inside of a shield with a lion on either side. This is legal, just rare. There will be 15 more waiting for you if you return, with proof, of course.
I see. Well,
I follow them and see if I can find anything out.
You go to the door, and as you try the handle, it zaps in your hand, and you quickly release it. But it zapped as if in warning. You think that touching it again may hurt a bit more.
Do I
I
take
I,
note of
I
the-
walk over to Dame and ask him if I walk over to Dame.
All right, you walk over to Dame. Dame, you were not previously aware of Carcerus being in the inn.
When did you get here?
Oh, I decided to come because I was bored back at the cabin.
All right then. We have a couple of songs to play, some town favorites, and what are you doing here? Wait,
don't know.
no, you said
Yes,
what happened to the door?
anything I could help you with, perhaps?
Anything that you could help me with? Keep everybody entertained. I need to take my, talents to the outhouse for a minute.
Okay then. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
okay.
Dame walks out the front entrance and goes to find. Well, I don't actually know where he's going. Dame, where are you going?
Come on.
To the outhouse?
Has a nice outhouse.
Okay.
Yes.
You go to the outhouse.
Well, I think that this is a fair deal. This, so far, from what I've heard, is a fair deal, although I'll need a little bit more information on the subject.
Yes, but about the sword. If you have proof, then the sword will come with the deal. But the sword is worth a little bit more than just the Dragonborn's head. You will also need his staff. Untouched
This untouched by whom?
by all.
This can be arranged. And with this, I shake his hand, and maybe he has like a magical binding of some sort.
Yes, just to make sure this stays under under others. Uh, uh, we shall do something. He takes out a dagger, a needlepoint dagger, pricks his finger with it, and gestures for you to put out your finger.
I do so.
He nicks your finger, and then shakes hands with you. As you shake hands, you feel the blood on your finger touching his skin burn slightly, and where his touches you, you can see a glint of glowing. You may tell others parts of this, but some parts of it will be protected by the blood oath. It won't kill you the first time.
I see. I will only tell them that we need to get somewhere to kill someone.
All right. Just remember, it's sensitive for the Dragonborn.
Yes, I have heard.
And with that, he seems to vanish into thin air, and you feel the shifting sensation again, and you find yourself back on the ground.
All right. Now that I'm done with the chamber pot, I would like to investigate the back door. I happened to notice Carteris tried to open it earlier, and it failed.
You go over, and the first time you lay your hand on the knob, it zaps you a little bit. Would you like to try a second time?
Perhaps.
This time, as your gloved hand touches the door, it kind of buzzes for a second, and then a blast of light radiates from it. Take 10 damage as a magnificent flash of white bursts out from the handle, and you fly backwards.
Oh no.
Are you
Oh,
unconscious?
No. I am unconscious.
Basically everyone in the tavern turns to see Dame get basically blown in an explosion of radiant light away from the door and hit the one of the tables, which also goes flying. A chair caught in the blast crashes against a wall and is ruined. You see Dame unconscious, bleeding from a couple wounds from hitting the table and chairs.
I open the door from the back because it's not locked from
Yes.
that way.
You
I
open the door, and you basically see everyone in the tavern look to you, and you see the chaos across the floor. Your Grung friend sprawled out.
Who
I
is this buffoon?
I dash over to Dame and take a medicine check.
Okay. Dame, are you making death saving throws, or are you? Oh, yes.
Yes, I am.
All right. Make your first death save.
7.
That is a failure. You can. Dame is. It looks pretty bad. Okay. So roll the medicine check.
I got an 18.
You think that you could at least stabilize him by binding his wounds. You can rip off a piece of your cloak. That should work.
I do so.
You rip off a piece of a cloak and tie a tourniquet around the worst bleeding area. He seems okay for now. He's stable. No more death saves. But unconscious. Here, let me roll to see how long. Unconscious, you don't know this, but Dame, you'll be unconscious for 3 hours.
Well, it's already midnight. I might as well just nap it out.
I take a walk out of the shop away from this interesting scene.
You walk out the front door and see that all of the shops and everything have been closed up. There's not much to see, but it seems that in this town, once the sun goes down, most of the merchants take the items from their stands, and the ones who live in stores lock up.
Well, I go home and with the owl bear skeleton structure that we have, I try and make a crudely fashioned bow that may break, but just temporary.
The bone is not pliable to create a bow, but you could use it to base one and possibly get some
Trees?
wood.
Yes.
The wood you'd probably have to purchase because one directly from a tree, it's a very, very good chance it would break after firing one shot.
Okay,
But you
so
could make a pretty cool place where the wood attaches and the arrows sit out of bone, if you'd
the
like.
bone. Yes.
You could also
Okay.
make some bone
Tomorrow,
arrows. Well, bone-headed,
after a-
bone-tipped arrows.
Right. For the moment, tomorrow I will make the bow, but today perhaps I make the arrows out of the owl
Okay.
bear.
You can fashion some pretty nice arrows. They take you around 20 minutes each to carve into a very nice shape. But you are feeling tired. You may have to finish them in the morning.
Okay, I make some now and then I take a long rest.
Let's say you make 3 now, but then you can have your long rest. Cartris and Dame, what are you guys doing? By the way, everyone else is long resting currently.
I decide that he's okay, and I decide to pick him up and carry him back to the cabin.
It's quite a sight. This very small, 3-foot tall grung being carried by 6'2" dragonborn down the street. Most of the few people who are out seem a bit wary at the strange sight, and you get a few people staring at you as you walk back.
Okay. I see Emma Marg in the we're in the cabin.
Yes. You see Amamar sleeping along with everyone else. Would you guys like? I mean, Dame doesn't exactly have an option to long rest, but would everyone else like to? Cartris?
I set him down in a comfortable spot, and then I take a long rest.
All right. Dame, 3 hours in, the sun hasn't come up yet, and you wake up extremely weak, wondering what's happened. It seems that most of the incident has been erased from your minds. You remember wondering about a door, and then nothing after that.
Have I taken my long rest?
Well, you have not taken long rest. You're at the 1 hit point because you've just waken up. But you can take a long rest for the rest of the night. Should be enough.
I'm a little suspicious, but I don't prefer being at 1 hit point, so I'll sleep on it and worry about it in the morning.
All right. You sleep, and you guys awake to the sun coming up and shining through the glassless window of the cabin. Everyone kind of wakes up a bit staggered.
Okay, so after some preparation, I believe we will be able to leave off on this thing, but cannot tell you too much about it. Only that it will grant us some great bounty.
Just a question.
How did the meeting go yesterday, Emma Marg?
It went much better than I presumed. We may need to purchase some supplies, but not too much. We just need perhaps a day to prepare. We have. Wait, how long was it, DM?
There is, from now you've a moon and a half, so around 6 weeks.
Yes.
The edge of the wood should only take you a week and a half.
Right, so that's
From what you
three-
know, you're not exactly sure, but
Right.
Our meat has smoked, correct?
yes, the fire's gone out, but all the meat is well smoked.
Just
I
a
start
question.
the process
We
of
should sell
drying
it.
it.
What?
All right. Not all of it has to be dried if you like to preserve at least some of the flavor, but yeah, drying it just means around 6 hours in the sun.
Just a
Yes.
question.
So it's
Uh,
jerky now, correct?
I have a question for everybody. What happened to me last night?
You tried to open a door that was cursed or enchanted, and you were blown backwards by a flash of brilliant light. You were knocked unconscious, and I had to save you.
Save me. How did you save me?
I wrapped a piece of my cloak around your. I'd made a tourniquet around your leg.
Wait a minute. But did you touch me?
Yes, I believe I did.
No, 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 no. Do you feel wheezy in any way?
No.
Do you feel slightly uncomfortable in any unusual fashion?
No.
Dame, why are you asking such strange questions?
Yes, it's quite peculiar.
So basically, you weren't affected in any way by touching me.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. It's nothing really. We could talk about it later, maybe.
Okay then.
Just for everybody, do not touch me. Do not touch me.
Okay.
All right. We will actually have to pick up next time. Thank you. This is great. Would anyone like to share anything with our audience?
Anyone who watches this is officially cool.
Yeah, KEWL, for anyone who's wondering. Cool.
Gotta spell it out.
Anyone else?
No.
Once again, this is not sponsored by D&D Beyond, but they are epic. Suggest you
Yep.
check them out if you would like to play D&D over quarantine or just learn about D&D in general.
We should end the recording so we can do like the XP and stuff.